Today, the technology in air conditioning systems is somewhat high tech. It's just not as simple as it used to be. There's something called a variable speed fan system. And a questions come in. What is that? Why is it important? How is it different than what we grew up with when we were kids? So I've asked Brandon Day to join me from Daycool Heating and Air to answer the question. Hey, Brandon, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I am living the dream. Thank you so much. Variable speed, we hear that. Obviously, it's not a constant speed. What is it and why is it important?
So variable speed, let's see, easy way, the way I explain it to a customer, like a cordless drill.
Mm,
The harder you pull the trigger, the faster the drill spins, let go, it slows down. That's variable speed. So there's not gears in between it. There's tons of different speeds. Old school, you had variable speed like one or two speeds. It would be like what I'd reference as a gear. When it's say you do a 5 ton system and it can shut down to 2.5 or 3, when the house only has the demand for 3 tons of air, it can run 3 tons of air. And when you have a big load, say a bunch of people over, it's hot outside, it can kick into, you have those two speeds. Well, variable speed has all those speeds in between. So it's taking and monitoring. It's got sensors that are monitoring what's going on with the house at that certain time to know what speed to run it at. Where that makes sense is it can save energy depending on if it's like an inverter or a regular compressor. An inverter takes a constant voltage all the time, same amount of amps, so it's using the same power, and it's changing electricity to be variable without getting too scientific. Whereas like you'll have a two speed or whatever, it is changing the amount of amps that system's pulling, which consumes more or less energy. In my opinion, I mean, everybody has one. A lot of this one or two speed pieces of equipment is more of a comfort item rather than an energy savings. When you go to like an inverter, which is the one that takes the constant power but changes speeds, inverter, you save money that way. Um, it slows fans down, get a cold real cold, slows the fan speed down to where it's blowing it pulls humidity different. Kind of hard to get into without being real scientific, but it's based off of the way that I educate the customers, let them know that it's mostly off of comfort.
hmm Um,
There can be an energy savings if it's overworking and then not.
yeah, I've heard both. Honestly, I thought they went hand in hand. I thought that you'll be more comfortable and you'll save more money.
You
Um,
can to a perfectly sized thing, but with the humidity here, that might be the difference. It's so freaking humid here on the coast,
yep. And if it cycles off too quickly,
then it's sticky again.
it's sticky and it's not doing its job. See, a lot of people don't fully understand that it's not just the air temperature. It's
Hmm.
it's a climate system. It truly is. Your HVAC system overall is a climate system. That's what I consider it. And in the summertime, especially, and even in the winter, if it's a warm day, the humidity's high, you can turn on the air conditioning system to do just one thing, maybe pull the water out of the air.
Right.
Even if you have to cool off the house, let's say it's November and it's not that hot outside, but the humidity's high, you may put your AC system on to 67 degrees just to get the humidity out.
Make it run
Um,
long.
yeah, and make sure it runs long enough. And that brings me to another point
Well,
on
and
this.
not to cut you off, but you were talking about how it saves you if you had
Yeah,
variable speed. Then it would save you money in that time of year. Do you see what I mean?
sure.
Because it would make the coal colder and draw humidity out at a lower amp draw, which does save you money and comfort. So it's kind of contradictive, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. And it's so important to have the right system working the right way. So you don't want it to cycle off too quickly. And a lot of people don't understand that. You have to make sure your system is really calibrated or tuned properly.
Well, that
Um,
goes to duct work and everything,
it
all that,
does.
and that's really important on your duct being perfect on a variable speed system.
Well, when you're putting in a new system and or a new house is built and they're designing the system for the house, to do it right, you guys need to use science. Is it a manual J? Is that what you guys do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we
Can
have
you?
software for it. You can do it old school way, but software is so fast and
Sure.
it's
Sure.
per your region and such.
Yeah. And for the people who don't have a central air conditioning system and they put some window units in, you don't have to be scientific there. There's really no science. You put some window units in, you turn on the system, and it does what it does. It will still take the humidity out,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it will cool, but it doesn't have to be designed for the home as a system. And something else that people need to understand, since we're talking about this, Brandon, is when your house was built, especially if it was built recently, it was designed for a certain type of air conditioning system, HVAC system. And it was also designed with the number of occupants in mind. So if it's a 4-bedroom house, it's going to be designed for so many people. If it's a 10-bedroom house, it's going to be designed for more people.
Mhm.
And so you really have to make sure that whoever is putting your system in, even if it's a replacement, it's done properly.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And, you know, as homes degrade over time, construction degrades, all of that's relevant when you get to 20 years or 25-year-old home. Wood and metal expanding and contracting over years makes it a house leaky.
Mm.
Can bring more dust into a home. There's a lot that people don't realize. So that's why that manual J is so important.
It is important. Brandon's the expert. He and his team can help you out. All of his information is located in the show notes. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.